All right, welcome to the Pitchlight Chronicles. I am Tats. I am here with Rob and Donald, and we will be breaking down the latest news in Yankee world with the signing of Rodon and who will be playing left field. We'll be breaking that all down right here on Pinstripe Chronicles. All right, so before getting into the unknown of left field, we really do need to break down this new rotation that we have with the addition of Carlos Rodon. Rob, I got it right. So the, but
Did you?
I usually pronounce his name wrong. So
I think you
I'm
did
trying
the
to be
last
more
time.
conscious to make sure I'm
Say it
saying
again. I want to make sure you get it right this time.
I said Rodon, not Rondon. So, but
Better.
like, how are we now? When the initial news broke, it was we kind of knew that the negotiations were continuing, but when the news actually broke, what was your reaction to that?
Man, I was happy. I saw it. Something told me to check my phone, and I don't know why. I was like, I gotta check Twitter, and I saw Pete. So shout out to Pete because he broke this news first before anybody else. He said Rodon. See, now you got me saying it. Rodon is going to the Yankees, and I was like, okay, I like that because he's not going to put something out unless he knows it. And then about 2 minutes later, Heyman says it. I was like, okay, this might be real. And then it just started this domino effect of everybody saying he's going to the Yankees. He's going to the Yankees. So shout out to Pete first, the boss Simonetti, breaking the news. But I was thrilled, man, because this rotation is scary now. Like it was already good, but now it's elite. Being talked about as one of the best in baseball. And if you're not going to improve the offense as much as you could, might as well improve the pitch. And yeah, big move. I love it. And it feels like the Yankees are being the Yankees again.
Donald, your thought?
Hugely exciting move. I think it makes us the best rotation in the American League. I think it's the best rotation in baseball. I could go as far as to say that. If you look at the fact that Frankie Montas is our fifth starter, possibly even our sixth starter, that's terrifying. That's how good this rotation is. So this rotation is deep. Hal Steinbrenner has put his money where his mouth is. He's done so all offseason. I'm very glad about that. That shuts up a lot of the talk that he's not his dad, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, okay, he isn't his dad, but you know what? I think the fact that he stepped up this offseason shows that, you know, he really does care and he wants to get this thing working. So I'm very happy about that. It was a right move. We've gotten, for me, I think he was the most sought after starter after DeGrom. Remember, DeGrom's got a lot of injury history. So does Rodon, but I think a lot of teams were in the Rodon market, and Rodon chose us. So it's great news for us. I'm very excited about it. It's a Yankee move. It's a big time move.
Yeah, no, I think the fact that it does shore up the rotation, when you have a guy like Rodon to fit into that 3 spot, or wherever he's going to fall in, not the 3, the 2 rather. So you're going to have Verlander, you're going to have Cole, you're going to have Rodon, and the rotation is going to fill out the way it is. It's just one of those. I'm a little tired today, so I'm really getting confused on names. But it's one of those. I think this rotation, and my cousin Nick had texted me after the signing, saying that he thinks that the Mets and the Yankees both have 2 of the top 3 rotations in the game right now, and I think he's right.
Oh yeah, no, there's no question about that. He is right.
Yeah. But no, where I was going with when I started saying the third, I think he was the third best pitcher on the market behind DeGrom and Verlander. So I was kind of mixing my thoughts up.
But, I know, but then when you think about DeGrom being injured most of last year,
yeah,
and the money that he was asking for, and the years that he's been asking for, plus you look at Verlander being 40, you could make the argument there that that Rodon was the guy to go for.
Yeah. Well, good morning, Brad. What's going on, Spencer? And the issue with this now, this discussion between the Mets fans and the Yankee fans of, well, our rotation is better than yours, right? This is it's not a big social media thing, but just amongst friends that I've talked to have been bringing up that question of if the rotations had to go toe to toe, who would have the edge? And I thought that was a really interesting question that I wanted to bring up on the show.
All right, let's bring it to the panel. Let's hand it off to Rob first.
I got the gardeners out there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I don't know why people care about the Mets, right? We play them. I don't even know if we play them again this year, but we play them like twice a year in terms of series. They have a great rotation, but did they really upgrade it? Because Verlander instead of DeGrom, that's kind of like you got two of the best pitchers in baseball. So is it really an upgrade, right? We don't know what Kodai Senga is going to be. He's basically replacing Chris Bassett, who was a good pitcher. Mm-hmm. We don't know if Quintana is going to be good for them. He's replacing Taijuan Walker. I think they made really, really good moves. They got a really good rotation. We got a really good rotation. Who's better? We're not going to really know because we're not going to go head-to-head with them unless it's the World Series. If we play them in the World Series, then we'll figure it out. But I don't know why every time the Yankees do something, it has to turn into a discussion about the Mets. Stop bringing up the Mets. We have nothing to do with them. Why do Yankee fans – I'm not saying you specifically or you, Donald, but there's so many times when the Mets do something, Yankee fans want to comment about it. And then when the Yankees do something, Mets fans want to comment about it. It's like,
they really want to comment on it.
Yeah. I don't care about the New York Mets.
Well, I literally don't care about the Mets. You're spot on. They're kind of irrelevant to me. Do something in October, and then I'll maybe care. But in the meantime, I still think that they're going to have a hard time getting through Atlanta and Philadelphia next year.
Their division is going to be insane.
Yeah, but no, there's no doubt that the Mets have a top 3 rotation in baseball, and there's no doubt that we do. I think we can agree on that. Yeah. I think that if I was to look at it, I would say I think ours is deeper, and the risk factor is not as great as it is with the Mets. I think the Mets have a greater risk factor, the fact that 2 aces are 40. I think that adds more risk, and I think that there is that element of unknown with Senga, but that was a really good pickup. Quintana, good pickup again, fine. Yeah, I think they got depth, but I think ours is even deeper, if you want to say that. I don't think Montas is going to be nearly as bad as he was for us last year. I think he'll be healthy coming into this year, and you get that as a 5th starter. That's awesome. Nasty Nestor, was Cy Young candidate. There's no doubt about that, and he's probably going to be our number 3 starter. That's crazy depth that we've got. So I'm very excited. But yeah, I don't know if Yankee fans really necessarily care about the Mets as much as vice versa. I've always thought that they really care more than we do.
Yeah, I think it's just that you have that percentage of fans that they concern themselves with the headlines and who's great. The back page of the papers. Why are you giving it to them? Look what we're doing. And it goes back, and it goes on. It goes both ways. I think that's where a lot of the argument is. But like you said, Donald, it's irrelevant. It's not like in the NBA where you have both teams in the same conference in some form, where you're really paying attention to the standings. Their record has no reflection of where our successes are. So it really is irrelevant. So yeah, Brad, you're right. It's the little brother syndrome, and Elliot Spencer. His concern is with Montas. He wants to see it to believe it, and I kind of agree with that. I think we really need to see if Montas is going to be what we saw from him in Oakland, or is he going to have what I'm calling the Sonny Gray syndrome, where you get these pitches from Oakland and they don't pan out. So a healthy Montaz, we're actually gonna see it very quickly in the season.
But here's the good
If
news.
he's on point.
Here's the good news. The fact that we got Rodon doesn't necessarily mean that there's that much riding on Montaz. Montaz can be a fifth starter.
Yep.
You've also got Domingo Herman that can step in. You've also got Clark Schmidt, depending on any trades. Unless there's any trades that happen, that's 7 deep right there. So there's not a lot riding on Montaz. So it's not that much of a big deal for me.
No, it really isn't a big deal. It's if Montaz is able to be your prototypical fifth starter, then that was in the top 3 of a rotation, on his previous team. That's a plus.
Oh yeah.
No, because
it's not what Cashman traded for though. Cashman traded a lot of premium, so he's not trading him for him to be a fifth starter. But the fact that we got Rodon means that there's less pressure on Montaz, and it's better for us long term.
Yeah, and still having Herman in the wings, might entice him to up his game a little bit because he's not going to want to lose that spot either. So,
no.
Not that not that Montaz is a pitcher you would throw into the bullpen, but it will create that who is your go-to rotation. Well, right now it's Cole, Rodon, Cortez, Sevy, and Montaz. Those, and then you'll have Herman that could be your long man out of the pen. So that's just another bullpen arm right now. Because we don't know what's going to happen with him. Is he going to be in the trade market? Are they going to make the trade for a left fielder? To fill that spot. Because right now, even though we don't have the pressures of having to get a left fielder, we do need to upgrade that position.
Well, I want to say one thing about. I just want to say one thing about Montaz. Why people hate this guy so much because he had a bad half a season and they don't think he can improve. He can't be much worse. Injury. Right. He was hurt when we got him, which was, you can put that on Cashman for trading for an injured pitcher. However, 95% of this fan base wanted him after Castillo went to Seattle. Give the guy a shot. He's not a bad pitcher by any means. He's got a lot of foul ground. That's why he was good in Oakland. You're telling me so he can't pitch anywhere else? He's a number 5 starter for us. He'd be a number 2, number 3 on a lot of other teams. So I think he's got a really good chance to be a lot better. And if he's your number 5, if he has like a 3, if he has Tyone numbers this year, fantastic. Fantastic. From your number 5 starter, we're looking for him to be Jameson Tyone this year. That's it. Not an ace, not a number 2.
He can do that.
Yeah, bottom of the rotation, middle of the bottom of the rotation kind of numbers. And he could probably do better than that. But if he gives you Tyone type numbers, then you're sitting very, very pretty this year with the rotation.
I also don't think the Yankees helped him because you know how the Yankees, especially under Matt Blake, who loves to emphasize your secondary pitches primarily, I don't think that's helped him because I think he's a fastball splitter type guy. I think he needs his fastball to be dominant, and you use your splitter after that to work off that as a strikeout pitch. The Yankees have done the opposite with him since he's come in. There's kind of like splitters and sinkers and two-seamers, then your primary fastball. I don't think that helps him. It's helped like Domingo Herman, for instance. It's helped certain pitchers. It helped Tyone, but I think in his instance, I think it would be better to do the opposite way around. Not the opposite way around, the normal way around when you have your fastball as a dominant pitch. Kind of what they should be doing with Garrett Cole. So that's something that the Yankees analytics staff need to look at. But I think if they did that, I think you'd see a much better Montaz. But as I say, even still, I'm not that worried about Montaz. I'm more focused on the fact that our top 3 starters shot with every single pitcher in baseball, and that is very, very exciting. And there's less pressure on Garrett Cole too, which is very good news for us.
Now, with Michael's point here that he's bringing up is unless Rodon can hit the ball and get on base, the Yankees still haven't made up any ground on the Astros. I think with the way that rotation is set up, I think that they can kind of quiet down the Astros lineup. I think it's going to be a little more of a challenge for the Astros to put up the runs Not that not that they can get shut out because they have a very potent lineup. But as far as our new nemesis to get to the World Series with the Astros, how do you think that this rotation can get us? Can this rotation keep us competitive? I think they can. I think that's not even a question. I think they can. I think this rotation is going to be a lot better than last year.
I disagree with this premise that we're not any further forward. We've had a very good offseason, and in my opinion, I think Yankee fans need to appreciate the fact that we got Rizzo back, who's the best first baseman on the market. He is back. We got Aaron Judge, who's the best player in baseball, just won you an MVP, just won you 62 home runs. He's back, and now you've upgraded your rotation with possibly the best starting pitcher on the market. So, I mean, I think that we should be a little bit appreciative of the fact that that's happened in this offseason. I don't want to be the type of fan who would be like, okay, well, we just got that guy, but what about the next guy? Why don't we just appreciate the fact that we went and got Rodon? But yeah, we do need to get a left fielder. We do need to make some trades. Most importantly for me, aside from left field, get rid of some of the bad salaries that we have. If we can get rid of Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks, that's a win in itself. And we have depth, guys. Let's not forget we've got LeMahieu due back. We also have some phenomenal players coming out of the coming up. We've got Peraza, who I expect will be playing shortstop next year. And from what we saw in a short sample size, he's only going to get better. Ozzy, I think he's only going to get better with more major league experience. And you got Volpe, who's rated as one of the very, very best prospects in all of baseball, due to come up. So I don't think that we're in this perilous situation that some fans think. I think it's a false narrative if you only focus on the playoff numbers, because we were hurt and there was a lot of other factors behind that, poor management, etc. I think we're in pretty good shape, but I'm not saying that we don't need to make some more moves. But as of right now, I think we should just be appreciative of the fact that we've had a very, very good offseason so far.
Yeah, and I think like what Rob said before you get into your point, your reaction, Rob, is you made the point on Thursday when I was going crazy, what are we waiting for? There's still 2 months to go.
Yeah.
There is still a lot of time to keep making adjustments to improve this roster. So, and then to what you said, Donna, let's just enjoy the fact that we finally have the management team working together to improve the team, not just run it back because they don't want to think that they were wrong. They are making the improvements. Yeah. They needed the bullpen depth. They brought in Canely. We needed a more reliable starter. We brought in Rodon.
Yeah.
Now, and then, like I said at the start, it's not that we're not desperate for a left fielder. We just need to give that position an upgrade. And the same thing.
No, I think we're pretty desperate for left field, but we do have 2 months and we've got multiple trade options. So I'm not overly worried about that. Rob?
No. Yeah.
I love this offseason so far.
Yeah.
The Yankees were always going to run it back. Anyone who thought they were going to transform this offense in one offseason was just delusional. They always wanted Rizzo back. They always wanted Judge back. They were literally your offense last year, because Stanton really struggled in the second half. Torres went through that really cold spell, and LeMahieu was hurt towards the end. It was Rizzo and Judge that were there, the constant from start to finish. You brought them back. Had you lost those two guys, you're not finding really good replacements for them at their position in free agency. It wouldn't have been Abreu, and damn sure it wouldn't have been any of the free agent outfielders to replace Judge. So be happy that the Yankees spent to get their two best players back. Be happy that they upgraded that bullpen with Tommy Kahnle, who's one of our better relievers after we got him in 2017, and he looked just fine last year for the Dodgers coming back. Our bullpen was already good. Now it's better. And now our rotation, which was already good, is even better and now one of the best in the league, and people are still complaining. We're going to get a left fielder. It's probably not going to be somebody that people want, but it's better than seeing Aaron Hicks out there, and it's a move that's going to probably allow you to use Oswaldo Cabrera a lot more. because you're not getting. I'm at this point. I don't see Brian Reynolds happening. Is he the best choice? Absolutely, he is. I just don't see it happening right now. But there are options out there to upgrade this team. And guess what? Your offense was still good last year, and they're going to rely on a full season of Bader to get them more speed, get them more runs on the base pads, and he's just a fine contact hitter as well. They're going to rely on Peraza when Volpe comes up. They're going to need Stanton and LeMahieu to be healthy. You know what Rizzo and Judge are going to bring you. That's a good offense. It's just about staying consistent, and they have to avoid that month-long drought. They're going to have droughts. Mm-hmm. It happens every year. But if they can avoid a month and a half worth of struggling, they're going to win 100-plus games with this team because you're running back a 99-win team. Again, it doesn't happen by accident. So they got to avoid that month and a half long drought, which I don't see happening again, not with this pitching staff, because that's going to be able to stop a lot of droughts, even if you win a couple of those games 2-1 or 3-2, something like that. That's how important that Rodon signing is. People don't realize the other aspect of it. I think we're just fine. The offseason's been really good. You would have told me before the new year we'd have Rizzo, Judge, Rodon, Hanley, Severino's option picked up. We already agreed to a couple of contracts to avoid arbitration, and now all we got to do is fill left field. I would have just signed me up because there's still 2 months to go, and your offseason's basically finished. I mean, that's more than I could have asked for.
Even like Brad brought up, 12 months ago in the previous offseason, we didn't know what this team was going to look like going into the holiday. We were still, even with the, all the other bullshit, there were so many question marks where this year there's only really question marks in 2 positions right now, as far as who's going to be the everyday player, and that's shortstop and left field. Because I think they cannot commit to.
I'd argue third base and left field. I want to know whether they're going to ride with Josh Donaldson or whether IKF is going to take third base or whether it's going to be LeMahieu. Shortstop, I think we kind of have an idea what it's going to be. I think it's going to be Peraza or Volpe, depending on where they are with that. I think that's certainly the medium and long term goal. So for me, third base and left field is more of a priority for me. I hope it's LeMahieu at third, but yeah, left field. Now on that topic, Benintendi is signed elsewhere. Rob, what are your feelings on Benintendi? Should we have matched the offer? Should we try to bring him back? What did you think?
I'm not upset that he left. I would have liked him back, but I'm not upset the Yankees didn't go 5 years for him because apparently our offer was 4 for like 60 something like that. We were offering him $16 million a year, so they were willing to pay him. They just didn't want to go that 5th year, and I think that's because Dominguez is going to be ready sooner than later. So they didn't want to create a logjam, even though Dominguez could just play center. But Benintendi is a good player, but people are acting like we just let Ken Griffey Jr. leave in free agency. He wasn't this all-world player for us. He had a really good couple of weeks before he got hurt because the Yankees didn't use him right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not his fault. They didn't use him right until he got hurt. It was right before his injury they started to finally realize maybe we should put him in the top of the order because that's where he seems to hit better. So they always, at this point, LeMahieu's your leadoff guy, and it's not going to change unless they pick up a traditional leadoff hitter. So get a middle-of-the-order type of guy to replace Benintendi. That's what they should have done. That's why I wanted Ian Happ over Benintendi, because I knew they weren't going to use Benintendi correctly. And I was right. Now, the fact that they wanted him back tells me they were looking for that top-of-the-order bat, so maybe one of those speedy guys that are on the market from Arizona becomes their target, or the asking price for Reynolds does come down and they still pursue that. But I'm not going to lose sleep over losing Benintendi. I would have loved him back, but I do think the Yankees can replace his production in other ways.
Yeah, I agree. I like Benintendi a lot. I was so excited that we got him. I've been a huge Benintendi fan right up to us acquiring him. I wanted him to be our new leadoff hitter. I wanted to make use of his contact skills and the fact that he's got speed and able to steal bases. I wanted all that, but the Yankees never used him like that. They just used him in a mishmash of ways all over up and down the order. And if you're going to do that, you might as well just bring in a guy that can hit around about 20 home runs, but 20 to 25 home runs. If you can get somebody like that has an OPS of around 800, I think that would be a win for me, because I think we need that more than we need anything else, because Josh Donaldson was meant to be that guy, but he was an absolute and utter disgrace and a disaster. So we need someone that can protect our middle of the order bats like Stanton and Judge, etc. I want someone behind them that can give you a little bit of pop and some solid left field. There has to be somebody out there that can do that. Obviously, I want Reynolds. I would happily give up Dominguez. I would happily give up Clark Schmidt, because I don't really want to give up Clark Schmidt, but we've got so many starting pitching options anyway. If it took him, and if it took Dominguez, if it took Torres, do it in a heartbeat. Absolutely, bring in Reynolds. I think he's a missing piece. But other than Reynolds, yeah, I would look at the fact that Arizona have a ton of outfielders. There are teams out there that will shed a left fielder. We just need to. We just have to be a little bit patient. But I don't want a lot of the years that are going around in free agency, man. Like, is there any of the free agent options that are appealing to you, like Conforto or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the issue with Benintendi, the way I looked at it, is not that he didn't, there was a lot of the talks, between us and in the chats and everything on all the various shows, that he was going to go back to the Midwest. That's where he was the most comfortable playing. So the fact that is where he went, we all predicted it. We wanted him back with the Yankees, but we expected him to go back to where he was comfortable. So it's really a no harm, no foul type of thing, as long as the Yankee, Cashman and Hal make the right move to fill in left field. If they if they're going to just put Hicks out there, then they shouldn't have let him go. They should have tried to get Benny a little harder. But it is what it is. You can't rewind the clock. You already signed somewhere else. It's just now it all depends on what the next move is, on whether or not it's going to hurt us long term.
Is there anyone in free agency that appeals to you guys?
In free agency, no. I think it's going to be the trade market.
I'd take Conforto. I don't know why people hate this guy so much. He was really good before he got hurt for the Mets. He was he was 800 OPS guy, 900, higher than that for every single year, basically, until 2021. That he's got the lefty swing, tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. So you want 20 home runs? Michael Conforto sitting right there. You can probably get him for a year plus an option around maybe like 13, 14, something similar to what the Astros just gave Brantley. The Yankees are willing to go 16 for Benintendi. They might get Conforto for a little cheaper. However, the Yankees have not been linked to him, according to John Heyman and a couple other reporters. So I do think it's going to be a trade. I don't think it's coming from Arizona. I think it's going to be Max Kepler. And I know that's not the popular choice. I just think he's the one because the Yankees and Twins have already made trades before. Kepler cost you nothing in terms of money. He's going to be like $8 million. And he's like the third or fourth best guy that's going to benefit from the shift going away. The Yankees love a reclamation project. They love a redemption story. And even if Kepler hits 20 home runs, which he could hitting in Yankee Stadium, he really could. For 1 year, and you have an option for next year, you're not locked in long-term to him. He's a guy that can just kind of slide into the bottom of the order and just play better when no one really expects him to do much. Because his expectations are going to be so low that he's going to be better. His analytics match up with it. Everything told you last year he should have been hitting better than he was. His expected average is like 40 points higher because of that shift. Now that that's gone, he's going to be better. So is Rizzo. He's quick on the base paths as well. You're going to get stolen bases. That was mentioned earlier in the comments with the new rules. A lot more speed on the bases. He's a fine outfielder as well. He's not a terrible option, people. I'm not saying he's the best one. I'm not saying go get this guy right now. I just think he's the most realistic because the Twins are going to be asking for pretty much nothing for him. They have a strength. We have a strength. We can maybe give them IKF. They need a shortstop. We need an outfielder. IKF for Kepler. We only pay a little bit more on the payroll, like $2 more million. It kind of washes out. Maybe you give them like a little bit of a middle prospect just to sweeten the pot a little bit.
Do you really want Max Kepler? I don't want anything to do with Max Kepler.
I think the numbers tell me he's going to have a better year. I'm not saying he's my top choice. Trust me. I don't want people to think like, how could you say he's better? He's the best choice out there. He's not the best choice. But I'm thinking about what the Yankees want to do. Do they want to pay premium prospects for a Dalton Varsho, who is very similar to Joey Gallo, by the way, and people don't want to admit it? Do they want to give up similar big package for him, or McCarthy, whose numbers actually tell you a different story? He's a soft contact guy. Like who? Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And nobody likes him. So I'm saying, let's say if we get Dalton Varsho and he strikes out 4 times in a game, are they going to be patient with him because they wanted to send Joey Gallo to Rikers Island? Are they going to be patient with Dalton Varsho? No.
Where are you on this in the left field discussion? Do you want Max Kepler?
No, I'd rather go after Conforto. I really do. You know, the more his name keeps coming up, you know, the more sense it makes. It's only money. You could save your prospect capital for the trade deadline to fill in any needs, you know, just in case somebody's not what they're expected to be. We can make that pivot to keep this roster on the top of the food chain.
So Conforto has a 255 career batting average. He hit 14 home runs in 2021, and hit about 220 in 2021, from what I recall. Didn't have a good year, and then last year's a write-off. Is this someone that you really want to rely on? There's going to be teams that want him. I think the Jays want him. I don't think Conforto is the type of guy that you're looking for. Max Kepler just reminds me of an Aaron Hicks. Just it looks like an advanced analytics guy's wet dream, because if you look at Baseball Savant, it's all fairly pretty good. But then if you look at his real genuine numbers, they kind of suck. So I really don't want Max Kepler under any circumstances. So the other guy I can think of would maybe Jurickson Profar, who played for the Padres last year and hit 15.
Yeah, I've in the comments brought him up.
Yeah, what would you say about Jurickson Profar? Would you consider him?
At this stage in his career, I don't think so. I think his
like 28.
He's got a lot of years in, though. He's only 28, but he's been playing he's got to have 10 years in by now. You know, he wasn't always, for me, he wasn't a name that just popped off the page going, that'd be a guy that'd be great for us. You know, he hasn't been a big topic of discussion. But I might come into the minority here. But if we can't make the right deal or make the right signing to stay under that third threshold, I'm not opposed to just having, Cabrera play left field. And you'll have Hicks to play left field if you need Cabrera to come into the infield. So I don't think that we are at that stage right now. There's still 2 months to go. I don't think we're at that stage right now where we need to hit the panic button to get a left fielder.
Yeah, so looking at Profar, he bats switch, had 58 RBIs, 15 home runs last year, 240 average, which is still above major league average.
The average.
OPS 722. Obviously, he won 800, but 722 isn't nearly as bad as Josh Donaldson's. His numbers look fine. You can go right back to the previous years, and they're all pretty much very similar numbers. I would actually consider him. I think he's a better option. So the fact that he's just turned 29, why would he be a worse option than Michael Conforto, who's also 29, and has he's been in the league for 6-7 years?
I think Conforto has less mileage on his body, even with the injuries. Conforto just seems he's already been in New York, so he hasn't felt the pressures of the market.
Okay.
He was able to perform, and I think that if you can get him on a 1-year proven deal, then there's no harm, no foul. You just you reassess the left field market the next offseason because you will have options. And say you get Conforto, you also have Cabrera can play left. You have Hicks can play left, and like LA Yankee King, welcome to the chat. You still have Florial in the pipeline. That can play left field.
Unless they start him or sit him on the bench, he's going to be DFA'd. He's got no options left. If they didn't play him by now, they're not going to play him this year. They've lost all their chances to play Florial. They don't want him to play left field. They would have done that already.
Well, 2 years ago, I was screaming, if you're not going to play him, trade him, and nobody was listening.
He'll be one of those Albert Abreu type trades right before the season starts. He's going to get dealt for he might get dealt for a lesser tier prospect or some sort of unknown relief arm that turns into someone really good for us.
Or he might be in a trade with Minnesota, So, he might be one of those pieces because they might not have a choice but to throw him into something rather than get not get anything for him by just releasing him.
Yeah, that's what I basically said. But I'm just saying, why would Minnesota take him? They just signed Gallo and they're getting rid of an outfield. They're not going to take another one. That's why even when people are saying give Hicks to the Twins for Kepler, they don't need Aaron Hicks. There are teams that could actually use Aaron Hicks if they pay $5 million a year for him to have this bench. Aaron Hicks off the bench is not the worst thing in the world. I just don't want him on the team anymore because last year he was just such an abomination. But if you're not playing him every day, you need a pinch hitter to draw a walk, he's your guy. But that's not what you want out of a pinch hitter. And if he can somehow get that swing back that he can hit 20 home runs a year, great. I just don't see it happening with us. I think a change of scenery is better for Aaron Hicks. I would love Florial to get a shot, but realistically, is it going to happen over Cabrera? No, because they've given Florial a game and they sent him down. A game that's not a player that screams future. So unless they start him in left field, he's gone. And he's going to be part of an Aaron Hicks trade that gets him sent elsewhere. It's hey, we'll give you Florial if you take some of Aaron Hicks's money. I don't know what they're going to do.
Here's why I want to trade in left field, because we really need to start getting rid of some guys on the 40-man. And a trade is the best way to do so, because we're getting to a point where it's coming to a crunch, this 40-man position that we're in right now. So I think that a trade makes the most sense. So, yeah, I think Conforto on a 1-year deal isn't the worst option, but let's be fair. There are other teams that are interested in him too. And that's going to raise the years. And I don't want to go over 1 year for him, or at least maybe a 1 year plus an option. I wouldn't go any more than that. So I would prioritize trying to package maybe a Gleyber Torres, a Florial, whatever, to bring in a left fielder of some sort. And I will also, you need to prioritize getting rid of Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks, because for me, that's addition by subtraction. I don't hate having IKF as the backup. I think IKF would be a perfectly fine backup third baseman / shortstop. That's not an issue for me. It's him playing every day in a position that he's not comfortable in, and us being gaslit that he's the next coming of Derek Jeter from the organization. That's why the Yankee fans are angry. So if you got him in a position to succeed as a utility guy, I think we'd be okay. So I would prioritize moving off of Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks contracts, because they're terrible contracts. Even if we have to eat 50% of both, it's better than having 100% of both of them sitting around, because I think they are nothing but a menace to our locker room. I want Donaldson out. I think he's a menace to the locker room. I think Aaron Hicks is a distraction. All he did, as soon as he sat for 1 day, he cried to the media going, I could go somewhere else and help this team. I can't play. Big crybaby. I want him out. I want him gone too. And the one time we did play him, he dropped the ball and just let it roll all over his feet, and he stood around, waited for a while. So I want him super duper gone. So
it's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a long time before Yankee fans forget that.
No, I'm never forgiving him.
Not on that, especially like the day it was. That was just That's etched in our minds now.
What is L.I. King? What do you want to get rid of? No. No, we're not doing this again, L.I. You're not trading those contracts to take on Corbin because you're only saving what? $10 million? Come on now. The Nationals aren't even going to take that trade. Corbin's shot. What are you going to do with Patrick Corbin?
I don't want Corbin. Corbin hasn't been able to show that he can hold his own.
And where are you putting Patrick Corbin? And if you tell me he's pitching out of the bullpen, making $26 million a year, L.I., I like you, but Jesus, that is a bad trade.
Yeah, Tats is falling asleep at the wheel. We've got lots of really good comments in the chat. Let's get into some of them here. Come on, Tats. FJ, it's a double shame, but Donaldson will be opening day third baseman. I actually don't know. I hope that he's gone. Rob,
if they can find a way to move him, great. I don't think they can because they're trying. They are trying, and all the reports are saying they can't find a team to take him.
Well, yeah, Brad's spot on. Yankees can't officially announce Canely, Judge, and Rodon until a trade or some DFAs. Exactly. He's spot on. That's exactly what I'm thinking. There is nobody on the market Yankees can realistically get. I don't know about that. I think you can. I think there are options. It will be a mistake if the Yankees traded Florial. I do like Florial. Every time I've seen him, I've liked him. I think he plays a very smooth outfield, and I think he's got the potential to have a bat. His swing is slow, though. It looks like he's a quadruple A player right now, but the Yankees never really gave him an opportunity. I like him, and I'd like to see him get an opportunity, but at this stage, maybe it's better for him to get a fresh start somewhere. It's a shame, but Florial just can't hit on the major league level. Yeah, FJ might be right, man, because he does look like a quadruple A player.
You know, we've done our best to be as fair with Florial as we can. We've been, very supportive of him getting a fair shot. The Yankees have not given Florial a fair shot to develop, and partly because there's, you get those Yankee fans that don't have the patience to let prospects develop. So that's the other problem. They do very well on the AAA level. You bring them up for one series, they have a little trouble getting their feet wet, and you want them gone. So Florial just got the shit end of the stick and did not get a fair shake at all.
Yeah. Oh, please no Kepler. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm completely with you, Brad. No problem there. FJ, do you know what the Twins are asking for Kepler? Hopefully far too much. Brad. Okay, what we got here from Brad. I have to agree with Pete from NY1 News. Of course, Conforto is either asking for too much. Health records suck. Yeah, I'm worried about Conforto. I'm very worried about his health record.
Well, that's why I think with Conforto, you can get him on a cheap 1-year deal to prove to everybody that he's healthy.
Yeah, but he's got Scott Boras, I'm pretty sure, as his agent, who's going to tell you you're giving this guy 2 because he probably wants at least 2 years to get as much money as possible. I don't think there's that many great options out there. Like everyone's bringing up these Arizona outfielders. Jake McCarthy is like the lefty Harrison Bader. He's fine. I take him. But what is Arizona asking for him? Well, Dalton Varsho is another Joey Gallo to me, and I would take that because I like Joey Gallo. I like the Gallo trade, but nobody else wanted him. So why are you going to be patient with Varsho? They are. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
And the other guy, I don't know who the other guy they wanted was Alec. He's like 22, but yeah, that's another option. But what are they asking for these guys? Because they all have such value.
They're not even whispers of what Arizona would even want.
Right, and we know the Varsho asking price is high. So are the Yankees going to make another trade for a strikeout power type of outfielder when they had to get rid of Joey Gallo?
No, I don't think that's not what we need. We need, we need the contact hitters. I think that's what brought a lot of the attention to the Arizona guys is because they're that beta type that's going to punch it into the gaps.
Peraza, Bader, Cabrera, and Volpe are all very quick on the bases. Yeah, that's why I believe that Benintendi isn't that much of a priority. I wouldn't have gone that extra year for Benintendi because we've got a bunch of speed on the base pass, but we have to utilize that speed. That's the first thing. If we can start having our guys utilize their speed, we'd be a much better team just with the personnel that we have. Any other comments here?
Li is going to town for Florial right now.
The reason Florial was bad is
that.
because he was pressing hard at the plate.
Yeah, because he wanted to do something in the 6 at-bats they gave him. But again, if they didn't use him at all in the last 3 years, what makes you think they're going to say, okay, well, you proved everything to us in your 12 plate appearances. You're going to start in left field for us when we have Cabrera and we have Aaron Hicks on the roster. And I'm sorry, Hicks is better than Florial as a major league player because Aaron Hicks has been a major leaguer where Florial's been given that shit end of the stick. I would love Florial to get a shot.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I think this debate with left field is going to go on for a while of who stays, who goes, who's on the market, who's more desirable. I think this is going to go on for a while until it's addressed. And until then, we can speculate and argue with each other all we want, and that's great. I mean, it's in the comments. Everybody's being civil with each other, but we don't know what's going to happen. If we did, I'd go out and play the lottery right now. We don't know what's going to happen with left field. That's just the way it is. We could have our fun. We can have our debate.
That's the way it is.
It's the way it is. Florial is not in LI. He can't hit secondary pitching. Even his AAA numbers back that up. He did have a lot of trouble with all-speed pitches. That's actually
the curveball. Trouble with the curve is definitely applicable to Florial. I don't want to rip on Florial. I like him a lot, but I do think that he might be a quadruple A player for me. Oh, it's the boss.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is happening?
So now that the boss is here, let's act professional, all right?
Hey.
But, no, it's one of those.
Let's act professional.
Yeah, we had. I was trying to remember the comment. I don't remember who made the comment. I think it was Brad brought you up, Pete, with your argument for Conforto. We were kind of going back and forth with that. It's the issue with Conforto is going to be the health, and like Rob brought up a few minutes ago, it's his agent. I think that was one of the factors that we weren't bringing up enough.
There are options out there, and the move that they make is probably not going to make anybody happy. I'm preparing for Kepler to be the guy because they're not going to be asking a lot for him. And maybe I know this is something that Pete brought up as well. They're looking to get rid of Luis Arias as well for some reason, even though the guy hit like 3-something. He won the batting title last year. If we can get him, because I believe he's a lefty as well, I'm not exactly sure, but maybe that's the move.
LI. Brad goes in on LI here. LI, you've been taken down by Pete as a supporter of yours. Get some new takes. Seriously, mate. Ouch. Well, to be fair, LI is really pushing this Corbin thing. Please, no. We don't want Corbin. Please, no.
No, not Corbin.
That would hurt the offseason for me. If you can get rid of Donaldson and Hicks, but if you're taking on Corbin, who's just not good. I mean, Jesus. LI, I know you bring up trades all the time, and you've got a lot of trade offers. You've got a ton of trade offers that you put up on Twitter.
Yep.
That might be the worst because Patrick Corbin getting paid the money he's getting paid to pitch out of the bullpen, it's Aroldis Chapman all over again. And we just got rid of him. I don't want another Aroldis Chapman. I can't see ever agreeing with that kind of a trade.
Yeah, it's we'll just have to see where everything goes, and then
I know, dude. Like what?
I mean, very nice to LI. I hear Corbin and Florial again. I don't know if I can take. I don't think we can either.
No, like it just doesn't make sense. We also want to kind of like free up some of the room on the luxury tax, and we're gonna get rid of some of the nasty contracts, not take on an even worse contract than the one we already have. That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, we're trying to free up money, and he's spending it before we can, before we have it. But it really rattles my head.
Here we go.
LI, market
is going, and Florial Yankees fans are going to be looking stupid when Florial finished 5th in Rookie of the Year, and we have Conforto to do what? Well, I assume Conforto will play left field, but 5th in Rookie of the Year, and that's a big statement. No, listen, I like Florial. I wish him the best. I think he's a quadruple A player. I think he's a very smooth outfielder. I just think that he has trouble with off speed pitches, especially curveballs.
Conforto can hit 230 with 20 home runs, 60-something RBIs, and I guarantee you that's better than anything that Florial is going to do for this team. And I am a Florial supporter as well. Yep. And I know Pete has been in the past as well. I know we've all been in the past. He's not the left fielder. I'm sorry.
His time is up. That's it. And it sucks because we didn't want this day to come, but his time is up. That's the bottom line of it. You know, he had his chances. He was not able to capitalize on them, as minimal as they were. And that's not his fault that they didn't use him properly. But when he was given the opportunities, he did not take hold of it and force himself to stay up.
I'm not sure about that. I think he's played pretty well, in my opinion. But I just don't think the Yankees like him. And there he is. There it is. The Yankees don't like him.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly how I view it. I think he's a good player. I just don't think the Yankees like him. And you know what the Yankees are like when they don't like someone, they're cast aside, like freaking Tom Hanks in Castaway. Let's ask Pete, who is your choice for left field? Because we've been debating it all day. I mean, obviously, I'm all over Reynolds. I'd give up whatever it takes to get Brian Reynolds. Is there another one that you can consider? McCarthy, anything you can think of, Pete? In the meantime, who else have we got here? We got my man.
What is
the irrelevant fan himself? Shout out, brother. Thank you for joining in.
Oh, they're just tearing apart poor Li King right now. Oh God, they're tearing him up, calling him a troll, destroying conversation. God.
Oh no, let's no. I'm not gonna. Yeah, we're not going all in.
We're not really trying to attack it.
He's a good dude.
We were being nice.
We really do like Li. We're ripping him a little bit today, but we really
we really appreciate the support. Tony McCarthy. Yeah, I think McCarthy's pretty good. Okay, Pete. If Conforto is healthy, he is a free agent to get. I like all the D-backs. Outfields, Reynolds would be amazing, but I don't think the Yankees meet the demand right now. Well, it makes all the sense in the world. You know, I agree. I love McCarthy.
But like we said, the Pirates in no rush to trade him anyway. He asked for a trade. The Pirates aren't officially shopping him.
They have no reason to yet.
Yeah.
That's again, they're asking for top 3 prospects. Why would the Yankees give that up when they have a shortstop problem right now? Well, they don't have a problem, but they want we already know. Hal told us. First thing he told us was the middle of the infield is going to be Volpe and Peraza at some point. They're not giving up both of these guys for Reynolds. It won't take both of them, but right now the Pirates' asking price is through the roof for good reason. He's their best player, and he's their only realistically great trade chip along with Bednar. And they're not trading Reynolds just yet, unless a team says, we'll give you our top 3. I don't see it happen. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Okay, Li, this is a good one. Reminder, this offseason has been all Hal, not Cashman. Listen, Hal had everything to do with – he had everything to do with Aaron Judge. Everything. Brian Cashman took credit for the fact that he was like, Hal, could you please bail me out of this one? Because he's not going to – Aaron Judge isn't going to talk to me because after I pissed him off last year. But apart from that, I think that Brian Cashman has hands all over Rodon. So I don't know if that's necessarily fair, and I'm not a Brian Cashman fan necessarily, but I think it's harsh to say it's all Hal Steinbrenner. But I think Hal Steinbrenner stepped up, and I'm so happy that he has, because it's shut up the talks that he's cheap. It isn't the fact that he's cheap, and it isn't the fact he doesn't care. I do think that he does care. I just think he's trusted the wrong people to this point. And I like the fact that he showed more accountability this offseason than any of the rest of our management team, including Fishman, Cashman, Aaron Boone. None of them showed any accountability for these last year or two. But Hal Steinbrenner said, I can do better at being a bit more present in contract talks. He said that. And he stepped up, and he put his money where his mouth is. So, yeah, Hal Steinbrenner deserves credit for that. But, hey, we got Yankee fans going after each other in the chat. This should be a happy day, guys. We've had a good offseason. We've had a very good offseason. We've got Rizzo back. We've got Aaron Judge back. We're now going to be flooding with 99 jerseys again. We got right field bleachers named after Aaron Judge back. He's going to be retiring a Yankee. We are going to be okay. Then we get an A starter in Rodon, who for me was the most valuable starter on the market. So let's chill. Let's chill. Okay? Let's freaking chill.
I'll answer this question for you, Tony. It's because the Orioles are irrelevant.
No, I think poor Tony. You should just be a Yankee fan at this point.
No.
Thank you.
Hit that like
Pete.
button. And
That's true. Tony spends more time on New York chats than
Nobody's talking about his teams. We said
The
2
Yankees
weeks
and the
ago,
Orioles?
there's no Orioles podcast out there. Nobody's talking about the Baltimore Orioles. Nobody's talking about the Houston Texans and the Arizona Coyotes. No one's talking about those teams. That's why he's rooting for them.
I don't think Coyotes fans talk about the Coyotes. I don't even know who the Coyotes are.
I didn't know they existed until last night.
but the thing with Cashman and Howe is they're collaborating rather than trying to, outdo one another on, Cashman's he's not digging deeper than he needs to, and Howe's keeping a tight leash on it, saying, all right, let's work together to get this thing done. So I think that's where we're seeing the success of this offseason and why we're so excited about it. Why we've been able to just kind of enjoy all this all the signings that we're getting.
You brought up Oreos.
We're talking about the Orioles, but okay. So Steele's 69 Oreo cake, yeah, it's a must because when I come back into town next week, I want to know what I should be diving into. So if you guys recommend the Oreo cake, I will go and get myself some Oreo cake.
Well, Pete's gonna recommend cannoli.
The Arizona Coyotes sound like a customized team on MLB The Show. Yeah,
that's very true.
That's true.
I think we've had all the fun with
cannolis
today, but we do want to thank everybody in the chat, especially Pete. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit. Steels, welcome to the chat. We hope to see you again. Brad, L.I.
Oh, wait. Okay, this is too good. I'd hate to rain on your parade, but Judge ain't hitting 60. And Cortez ain't going to have a first half like before the Yankees going 50-19. However, they will win the division. Wow.
I think if anybody thinks that Judge is going to hit 60 like he did last year, I think they're stoned. Right? Those seasons don't happen every year. Right? That's
why it's such a freaking amazing accomplishment.
Exactly. Like if he hits, 45 and bats 240, I'll take that. Not 280. If he bats 280,
240, Jesus Christ.
and I think that's good numbers.
Listen, I don't want people to get too hung up on the home run numbers next year.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge hit 62. This doesn't happen, guys. That's why it's a generational thing. It's like a Yankee fan hasn't seen it happen since Mantle and Maris when they were fighting each other for the home run crown, and it exhausted Maris to the point where he was losing hair. I keep saying it, but it stressed him out. It was an exhausting experience. I think that had something to do with Aaron Judge in the playoffs. I think he was exhausted carrying a team by himself. So what we expect from next year, all I expect is for him to do exactly what he's been doing his entire career as a Yankee to date. Yep. Lead this team.
Yeah.
And he will do his thing. He is Aaron Judge. He will do his thing. I'm not overly worried whether he hits 50 or 60 home runs. It's kind of irrelevant to me. The next stage is October. But he will carry this team and he will lead this team and we will be fine. So let's be a little bit positive here, okay, people?
That's it. That's all we can be is positive because that's all we've been able to have is positive news.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. But that is going to wrap things up for us today. We will be back Thursday at 10 a.m. in the morning. So come hang out. We'll talk a little
10 a.m. in the morning. Well, what is 10 a.m. other than
10
in the morning?
Wrap it up.
We're over the hour mark. We're at that hour mark. But just remember, wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
10 a.m. in the morning.